There's incredible controversy over 3D printed guns. Some think they're inexpensive ways you could protect yourself. Others say they pose a threat to public safety. But the main focus has been how people get the blueprints to make them in the first place. Matt Larosiere is the policy director of the Firearms Policy Coalition, a Young Voices senior contributor, a friend of the show, up late live with me. Good to see you, Matt.
Good to see you, Jim.
Talk to me here. We had you on the show last year when this was reaching critical mass. Take us back. What was the controversy, and why was there this uproar when it came to these so-called 3D printed guns?
Right. Well, as with anything new in the firearms community, the gun control side is going to just constrict as hard as they can and react with as much alarm as possible. In reality, it was really a nothing burger. It never was a big deal. You could always make your own guns legally. You still can. Nothing changed. And really the big interesting thing here is that it was really more of a First Amendment concern than a Second Amendment concern. It all boils down to code. Code is speech. So at the end of the day, code is free speech.
You've been one of our go-to guys on the show when it comes to talking about the Second Amendment, because you've been a fierce advocate for the Second Amendment, and your expertise on this issue actually got some national acclaim. You were part of a documentary that ran at FreedomFest. Am I correct in that?
Yep.
So tell me about that, how you got involved with it. We're taking a look at you, I would assume here, working on blueprints or looking at a 3D printed gun.
Yeah, that was with Matt Kibbe's group, and I was originally going on his show to talk about the guns, and he kind of realized that I did it myself, and so the guys came over, and we just showed him how everything worked. We took like 3 hours of footage, and they made a mini documentary out of it, and they did an amazing job. And the director, Logan Albright, actually won Best Documentary in the show for it, which it was wonderful to get to work with these guys. These are other really passionate guys, really committed to the cause of freedom in every way, all across the spectrum of civil rights.
I think when people hear about the 3D guns, and perhaps you and I talked about this the last time around, but I think it bears repeating, why? Why do this? Why fashion your own gun that some people believe could be untraceable or undetectable?
Why not? Well, I mean, that's my kind of crass way of putting it, but really, why not? The question isn't why you should do it. The question is, why should we punish people for doing it? I can think of 100 ways to do it, and you can check out the Free to People mini documentary and hear some of those, but there's a lot of ways, prototyping, testing things out. Maybe you want to just try out a different size.
Yeah. I think because it comes down to this, and we're just about out of time here. But, I think people who are unfamiliar with firearms, unfamiliar with guns, there's a certain fear. And there are some people, hey, look, the Second Amendment exists because you don't have to own a gun. Nobody's requiring you to own one. But I think regardless, I think when you get a level of understanding, it comes into a little bit of a different focus, I guess.
Yep. And look, at the end of the day, this is a country where we've decided that people have the right to have effective mechanisms to protect themselves. People also have the right to make those themselves. And at the end of the day, does it really matter on a principled level whether you have to use a lathe to do it or a 3D printer? It really doesn't. It's illegal to commit murder, and that's not changing.
Yeah, technology has really changed the way we look at things and see things. Matt Larosiere, I always appreciate having you come in. I know you were taking off. You were leaving us here in D.C. You're going back to your native Florida, but I hope we'll have you back on the Final Five through the magic of technology.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks, my friend. We're back after this.